Am I the a-hole for brushing my daughter's friend's extremely matted hair out so she avoid a drastic cut? My daughter has a friend, A, 13F, who has been going through some health issues that I don't want to put here. A's mom passed away when she was little, so it's just her and her dad. Since he has started dating his girlfriend, we'll call her C, A's needs have been pushed to the side a little and he's just not noticed that A has been struggling. She's doing better now after getting the help she needed. However, A's hair has been extremely matted as it had not been brushed for months. A had been hiding her hair under hats and hoods at home and trying to disguise it at school in buns. She stayed over at the weekend and I only found out about her hair when they came downstairs after getting a comb stuck in A's hair trying to fix it. I comforted A as she was ashamed about her hair but had hoped that she and my daughter could fix it. My daughter convinced her to tell me about it as she had been scared to say anything to anyone as she thought she would be judged as her dad's girlfriend has made comments about her appearance when she was going through her health issues. When A was going through her issues, I made it clear to her and my daughter that our home is a judgment-free zone and if she ever wanted to come to me or my husband for help then she would get it. I then asked for help detangling her hair. So that's what I did. We put on some films and worked on detangling A's hair. It took hours, but it was doable. When I went home on Sunday, her hair was completely detangled and neatly braided into 2 Dutch braids. She was happy and thanked me for helping with her hair. Then Monday I got an angry phone call from C because she was meant to be taking A to get her hair cut due to how matted her hair was. Apparently C and A's dad had noticed how bad it was and C had told me that she would get it sorted. C is mad because the salon they were going to had charged her a cancellation fee for canceling the day of the appointment. C wants me to pay her back for the cancellation fee as it's my fault for fixing A's hair when they were going to get it cut out. I told her that I wouldn't be paying it, I just did the right thing by A instead of going to the extreme option straight away. C then said that A was no longer allowed to be friends with my daughter and they would sue me for the cancellation fee. It was £60, half the cost of the cut. My daughter told me that A knew about C wanting to cut her hair and A didn't want the haircut, which is why she went to my daughter for help. Like my own daughter's has long hair, so cutting the matted hair out would have meant her losing well over half of the length of her hair. Am I the a-hole for saying you shouldn't touch girls to my 10-year-old son? I, 32F, my husband, 34M, have 3 kids, 2 teenager girls and a 10-year-old boy. Last week, I spotted him on the playground putting his arm around a girl from his class and when I asked him about it he said she was his girlfriend. My husband laughed and told him don't break too many hearts. I asked my son if he had asked the girl if it was okay before he put his arm around her and he said no. I gently explained to him that he should never touch girls like that without getting their consent first. He didn't know what consent meant so I had a mini discussion with him about how it's not nice to touch people without their permission and asking first means that you know the other person doesn't mind. My husband was silent during the entire conversation. My son didn't seem to be bothered by our small talk, which only lasted a couple of minutes, replied with okay and then went to go play his Switch. After he left the room my husband went off on me, saying that I'm making my son sound like a predator in the making, that it's just innocent playground fun, and that I'm blowing it way out of proportion. I obviously don't think my 5th grader is a predator, but I felt like it was important to teach him about the idea of consent from a young age. However, I do have a complicated history when it comes to this subject so maybe that's clouding my judgment. Am I the a-hole for not defending my wife wanting to attend a funeral with our baby, thus causing her to miss it? My wife and I have a 6-month-old baby girl. Due to postpartum anxiety, which she is being treated for, my wife struggles with leaving our daughter with anyone outside myself or my mother, who lives with us. This hasn't been an issue thus far and as I said, she's in therapy so little by little, it's been getting better. Unfortunately, my nephew, who was also 6 months old, passed away a few weeks ago. He had been in poor health since birth but it's still obviously devastating for the entire family, especially my brother and Sil. They held the services the following weekend. I was in consistent contact with my brother and we were discussing the funeral. He said he knew it was a lot to ask, but could we please not bring our daughter? I said I completely understood and didn't even intend to. 1. In my opinion, babies do not belong at funerals. 2. This is a funeral for a baby of a similar age. Why would one want to bring up that reminder? My brother said he knows how my wife is about leaving the baby so they understand if she can't come. Well, my wife became irritated when she found out I didn't defend her. She reminded me that she doesn't trust anyone to take care of the baby outside me and my mom, who obviously have to be at the funeral. She doesn't want to miss it either, but also won't agree to leave the baby with anyone else. We have several family members on her side that we are close to, as well as good friends who also have kids. I said even if she just went to the service and not the gathering afterward, that'd just be an hour. She said no, she can't handle the thought of leaving her with anyone else. I said that's understandable and that clearly, my brother and Sil would rather her not come if it means not having a baby at the funeral. She continued to complain. Finally, I said she has 2 choices and she needs to make one, I don't care which it is. I won't hold it against her either way. 1. Either allow someone else to watch the baby for an hour. 2. Stay home with the baby. She says that I'm not even pretending to be on her side, and I said I'm not, because this isn't even about us. My wife ended up staying home with the baby. When my mother and I returned later that afternoon, she shut us both out. Eventually, she calmed down, but she has made comments here and there making it clear that she feels I should have tried to convince my brother to let the baby come. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister it's her own fault her family is a mess because she wanted to adopt? My sister Lucy, 38, has always wanted a big family. She and her husband Tom, 40, had their son Logan, now 9, but due to complications Lucy couldn't have more kids. Lucy was devastated. About 3 years ago, she and Tom decided to adopt. Tom never outright said he didn't want to go through with it, but it was clear to see he didn't care one way or the other and just wanted Lucy happy. Logan said he didn't want a sibling. Lucy brushed over all these concerns with the "they'll get on board eventually" attitude. Long story short, they were eventually matched with boy, Jack, who is now 11. Lucy said they all bonded, but Jack had behavioral issues, and whenever I saw them, I picked up on the fact that over time Tom seemed to be getting less and less keen, and many times when it was just adults he commented on his worry that Jack had latent issues because of his traumatic past. Lucy adored Jack and rubbished these concerns. I brought up Tom's hesitation, but Lucy said it was just taking longer for him to bond. They officially adopted Jack about a year ago, and since then things have fallen apart. Jack's behavior has either gone a lot worse or Lucy wasn't speaking about it as much before, but it's clear Tom is at his wit's end. According to Lucy, he works late constantly, and whenever Jack has a tantrum he helps Lucy calm him down, and then takes Logan and leaves the house. Logan now hates Jack and won't play with him, which causes more issues, and he's started to act out. He spent his last school holiday with my family and is set to spend Christmas with us again because even the family therapist says it's good for him to have some space. Having seen this all unfold has been heartbreaking. Tom and Logan look more miserable every time I see them, and though Lucy would never admit it, she does too. Whenever I speak to her she talks about how hard it is, but always has Tom and Logan at fault. She has never taken any accountability for the fact that she didn't listen to anyone's concerns. She called me a couple of days ago to discuss plans for Christmas and when Tom would be dropping Logan off at my home. She again started ranting about Tom has basically shut down at home with her and Jack and how she thinks he's going to leave. She was calling him every name in the book and then started saying she was disappointed that Logan doesn't love Jack and she can't believe she raised a bully. I lost it. I told her the really bully was her. She bullied her family into adoption as a form of wish fulfillment, and Tom shouldn't have indulged her, but most of the blame falls on her for destroying her family. She screamed and cried and eventually called me evil and hung up. Am I the a-hole for siding with my daughter that she doesn't need to invite her sister to the popular table? Both of my daughters are in high school. My oldest, Cindy, is 16 and my youngest, Emily, is 14. Now Cindy is quite popular. She is on the volleyball team and has a huge friend group. My youngest isn't very popular, and her friend, Beth, is her main friend or ex-friend. It also doesn't help that she is into hobbies most other high schoolers don't care about. Emily and Beth got into a fight and Beth is not speaking to her anymore. She is sitting alone at lunch now. This came out yesterday and my husband wants Cindy to invite her to sit with her group of friends at the popular table. Cindy refused, saying she doesn't want to do that. My husband was mad, but when he tried to get me to back him up I told him Cindy has every right to not want her little sister in her friend group. That you can't do that to her and Emily needs to make her own friends. My husband is pissed at me and Cindy. Emily is super upset that she doesn't have people to eat with, and I am wondering if I made the right call or if I am being a jerk.